Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So, I mean, big picture, we've been getting into we've been discussing the scaling element of it and everything like that. But, something that also really goes hand in hand with this is it's kind of a two-prong thing where one, when you're doing something like this, marketing is always important, but marketing is obviously very important when you're doing something on that scale, because we're not talking about marketing for a neighborhood pub. That's a completely different animal. You know what I mean? You're doing something obviously on a much larger scale. And then there's a twin element to it where I'm going to tell a little story about my cousin. And I love her. We'll get that out of the way first. But I remember when we were young and we are like college age or something, and she used to be into Dave Matthews. It was the 90s. You know what I mean? You're into Dave Matthews. Yeah. So, but she liked Dave before he got popular. And so the next summer when I went back out, she didn't like Dave Matthews anymore because he was a sellout. And all that means is that he was successful. I don't. Can you talk to that marketing element? And sometimes what I think is a strange offshoot or a strange happening in our industry. I know there's been some people, because obviously Founders is huge, and as Founders was scaling, there would be, and they might be a little bit more on the beer nerdy side of the spectrum. You know what I mean? Like maybe a very small percentage of the folks out there, but some people don't like when their local brewery gets big. You know what I mean? It's almost like this Dave Matthews effect, right? Where you're like, listen, and it's weird because it's almost like people love the concept of local so much, but the flip side of it is they'll say, well, I want you to be successful, but not too successful. Right. Whatever too successful means to them.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
Yeah. Can you dip into that at all? Whether that be, the marketing end of it, kind of the maybe a small minority of people that sometimes don't like when breweries get big. Do you have any thoughts on that? That you want to share?
I've got some thoughts. Yeah. I've made craft beer a career. I've got plenty of thoughts. This could be one
that we gloss over too. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's your analogy to music is the one I always go to. It's a very similar feel from the fan side. Everybody's got their small local band that they saw back when, before they were big, and oh, you think they're good now? You should have heard them in this, 100-person venue back in 2001. Craft beer is the same way. Everybody loves their local pub, as they should. I mean, it's pubs forever have been the place where a community gets together, and there's nothing more local than a bar and a craft brewery. So it's, I understand that passion, and the people want to take ownership of the thing they're excited about. So when it grows and suddenly everybody else is in on the secret, and everybody else has access to the same awesome beers, it's suddenly you don't feel as cool, and you're not as special because you're the only one that can get your hands on this.
Sure.
You can just look at any of the alcohol secondary markets, be it craft beer or bourbon or whatever. There's a flourishing market of people just getting hard to find beers and shipping them across the country because, well, I can't get it, so I want to try it, right? I gotta check in on Untapped and say I've had it, right? That whole thing. And yeah, you see a lot of hype breweries. They're great. The nerds love them when they're small and they can do no wrong. And then they grow and they scale and they become regional brewers. And then people are like, oh, they sold out. And oh, the beer's not as good and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes that's true.
Well,